Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're going to finish what we started in yesterday's video. And what we were doing yesterday is installing XPS foam over the studs on this partition wall. We're going to be using this XPS foam as both a vapor barrier and as insulation. The XPS insulation, along with what's going to cover it, will be about the same as putting up plastic, but it has a lot of advantages. One, that it's insulation, and two, when you have a big span of seamless insulation like this, you don't have any thermal bridging. If I were to put drywall on this wall or a vapor barrier, plastic, and then drywall, and did the same on the other side, if you take a thermal imaging camera, you'll be able to see every one of them studs. The studs would be about 3.5 R3.5, and this way that would be a little over R10 right where the stud is. You would probably see, depending on how good your camera is, you would still see a little bit colder in this area, but it's not a thermal bridge like what you would have without the XPS. All right, not going to get into too much of that. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention though, yesterday when I had like the end of it right here and then it was plastic, as I was walking along this, when you get to the area where it's just plastic, it's dramatically colder. It's really weird. Like right here it would be nice and toasty warm, and then all of a sudden it got really cold. You could feel the coolness coming off of the plastic there. Pretty interesting. So if you remember from yesterday, I ran out of glue and my wife went to town and got 3 new glue, so that should be plenty to finish this up. I did run out. I used the last of the glue on that last panel and it got about halfway, so I'm glad I stopped where I did. Otherwise I would have had to scrape the glue off and wait anyways. So I got the last little bit in here, right here, and now I'm going to start on this third level, which is another 4-foot sheet. I got to move that thermostat to do this as well. So what I'm thinking, yeah, I'll just check it out right away, put a sheet up there and see how I can reach it, see if I need to adjust this at all. I don't think I'll need to, but we'll test it out anyways and see how good it's going to work, and if it's going to be just fine, we'll get to it. All right, I had to raise the scaffold a little bit, and I got my panel up on the rail of the scaffold. With this first panel, I want to go close to the center. Well, I want to get it right on the center of the stud. So what I think I'm going to do is just mark the center. I can lift this on from down here and then go check the other end and see if it's on the center of that or not. Then I can go up there, mark the tops, and take this off and start gluing. Yeah, that's my plan. All right, we'll just do this by eye. This is not rocket science. Hopefully this will just sit up there. All right. I'm gonna have to grab a stick and hold it in place because I got to get to the next side. Actually, yeah, I think it's going to be just fine. I'm going to put it in there. I can always trim the next panel a little bit more if I need to, because these studs are pretty much dead on. So once I get it glued, I will have to have a stick in my hand so that I can hold this in place and come around and go up the ladder. I'm going to have to turn that ladder around as well. Okay, that's my plan. Got to get these tops marked. Yeah, that's going to work out just fine. Beautiful. Now, yeah, I'm going to have to bring this panel up with me because I'm going to have glue all over here, and if I lean it up into there, the panel's just going to get full of glue and be a mess. All right, let's get some glue and some foam on here. I have the next can of foam waiting. All right, I shook this one up real well yesterday, but you really need to shake these every time you use them, and a little bit while you're in the process of using it. All right, let's see how much is left in this thing. If it has enough to do this panel, I will be so surprised. It's halfway. That's it. Oh. I didn't go far enough. All right, let's hurry up and get that done. All right, let's try this again. right on my line. Get a couple nails. At the top. Actually, I think I'll get all of the top. The foam wants to push it away from the wall. So on these upper ones, I have to go right to the bottom instead of working my way down. Okay, so the platform makes it much easier to do this upper part, but it's still not easy. I got to go up and down the ladder, move the platform. The platform works good for about half of it, so I'll have to have it like kind of like this to work on this half and then move it over to the other end for the other half. Still not as bad as doing this entire thing by ladder. That would really suck. All right, this next one comes to right here, which is just before the door, which works out perfect. Once I get that one in, this one, I believe I'm gonna end up cutting the opening right away instead of just leaving it hanging in there. Yeah, it'll be easier to do it on the ground than do it up there later. I could just take a saw and saw out the sides, but I might get a bad snap on that top part, so I'll cut that out when I get to it. I still need to cut a piece for this right here, but not super important right now. All right, let me get this piece in and I'll get back with you when I start on this more complicated piece right here. Okay, I got that second panel in, and for this panel, the only dimension we need to know is from this girt over to here, and that is 66 3/4. 66 3/4 is a 1/4 inch shy, so that we got a little bit of play. Once I get that cut, we'll put it in place, and then I'll just reach around and draw the door opening with my pen. We'll go cut that out, and then we'll get this panel in place. And for those of you who are wondering how I'm cutting this stuff, what I'm doing is I'll measure over from the top, then measure over from the bottom, make my 2 marks, and then I'll take my straight edge and a very sharp knife. It's way over there, but I have them extra sharp steak knives. I'll cut a couple times into it, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. It'll snap real nice and clean. this one's in, and as soon as this foam is semi-dry, I can push another piece of foam as tight as I want up against the opening. But if I do it too tight, it's going to fall over. I'm going to have to lean something against that. So we are almost there. Got one more big one to do. And it's just like the last one, just a bigger door opening. So it's getting really late. Let me get this one in really quick, and then we'll concentrate on these upper ones. The upper ones are all half, and they'll get notches for the joists. Wherever there's a joist, it's going to notch into the joist. So that might take a while too. I'm going to try to get this done tonight, so let's get going. I'll get that one in, and then we'll concentrate on these narrow ones. Okay, here's what happened. I got this panel done last night, then I had to go in the house and do a bunch of stuff, and by the time I got back out here, all I had time for was that very end panel. I believe I ended up quitting at 6:30, 7 o'clock last night. There was no way I was going to work anymore on this. So today I got to get all of these in. First thing I got to do is measure down from the joist down to the foam, and I think I'll subtract maybe a ½ inch from there. It really doesn't matter, that's going to be foamed, so a ½ inch gap is just fine. So I'm going to notch out around the joists and get a panel up there. Hopefully I only have 2 joists, because that's about as far as I can reach. Yeah, I think I'll put a panel right here, mark where the joists are, and then get that notched out. And then once I get the panel ready, I'll show you what's going on from up there. Bada bing, bada boom. The XPS is completely installed. I just got to go back and detail it. I'm going to fill any empty voids like this with foam. Once everything's dry, I'll trim everything off. I trimmed around the doors, and I have foam on both sides of this door, and just this side on this door. I'm going to go around and put a panel on the other side as well, just because it's going to get so cold tonight and tomorrow night. Look at that. I'm going to close that up right away as well. It's going to get 4 below 0 tonight and 11 below 0 tomorrow night. We have a polar vortex coming in, and I don't want to waste a whole bunch of energy, but I do want to keep it heated out here. As you can see, I brought all of the insulation in that's going to go on the other side of this wall. What I'm going to do tomorrow is cut this all to length right here, and then go around to the other side. And I want to get at least the top part of the wall filled. And I don't know if I'll do anything with the top except for go up there as I'm putting in the insulation, make sure I don't have a bunch of openings like that. I'm going to do a little bit of that right now before I go, though. I thought I did that as I was putting this in, but I can see more than I remember. Yeah, I don't know why that's like, I just did that one. Okay, so like I said, tomorrow I'll be putting this in. I want to have this in place for the -11 that we're having tomorrow night. And once that polar vortex has passed, then I can get back to working on the normal schedule, which will be putting in the F and J up there, getting the last panel in, the last row of insulation, and that'll basically do it for now for the wall. This place will be completely sealed up at that point. Then I'll need to fill this area right here, get that finalized, and put some temporary stuff in here and right there. Those still need to get some electrical work done, and I'm not going to be doing that right away. I need to get the panel, start putting wall panels on so I can get the main entrance panel fastened to it, so I can get my sub panel. I need electricity out here and lights, so very busy coming up. So if you want to see that stuff, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.